The San Antonio Spurs are genuinely scary right now. Nobody saw this coming.
Wemby three, you bet! Plus the foul! Makes the incredible block, crossover through the legs, behind the back, and knocks down a three and picks up the foul. I mean, come on.
1 year ago, the San Antonio Spurs were the third worst team in the Western Conference. Let that sink in for a second. Third worst. And now they own the second best record in the entire NBA, sitting behind only the defending champions. Vegas had them projected at 44.5 wins before the season started. They've already blown past 50, a number this franchise hasn't touched in nearly a decade. Nobody predicted this. Nobody had this on their bingo card. And the wild part isn't even that they're winning. It's why they're winning and what it suggests about where this franchise is headed over the next 10 years. Because when you actually sit down and look at what the Spurs are doing on a night-to-night basis, this isn't a team riding a hot streak or catching teams on back-to-backs. This is a team that has figured something out, something real, and the rest of the league is starting to notice in a way that should genuinely concern every other contender in the conference. The Wembanyama effect. Let's start with the obvious, because even when something is obvious, it still deserves to be said properly. Victor Wembanyama is not just good. He's not just living up to the hype. He is doing things that have no real historical comparison.
From the logo!
And then Victor just protecting the house. Looks like two easy ones, both of them rejected. Victor comes down the floor, and you have to know that this one is going up. You just have to feel it, and he hits nothing but the bottom. What a performance from the big guy in the first half.
And the numbers make that embarrassingly clear. 24.3 points, 11.2 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game, all in just 29 minutes a night. He's leading the entire league in blocks. He's a top 3 MVP candidate. He's the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year. And on March 23rd, walking into Miami and dismantling the Heat.
Tells me you're with us tonight. Well, were you at the rim to help out on Wembanyama? There's that nice assist.
From start to finish in a 136-111 win, he finished 11 for 22 from the field and became only the 4th player in NBA history to record at least 26 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 blocks in a single game 4 times. The rest of the entire NBA combined for one such performance this year. He's doing it 4 times. That's not a stat, that's a statement. He also joined David Robinson as the only players in NBA history to record 4,000 points and 600 blocks within their first 175 career games. This man is 21 years old and he's sharing company with the Admiral. Honestly, what the fuck is happening in San Antonio? But here's the more important evolution. Early in the season, there was a blueprint to slow him down. Phoenix figured it out: load up, crowd him, throw multiple bodies at every touch, and force the rest of the Spurs to beat you. And for a stretch, it worked. San Antonio kept feeding Wemby, he kept trying to force his way through walls of arms, and when it wasn't working, the offense moved away from him. Exactly what the defense wanted. That blueprint is dead now. Since the All-Star break, the Spurs stopped running offense around Wembanyama and started running it through him.
That's a great ball fake. Looks like Dev's going to try to take it and throw it down, and just throws it anywhere. Just throw it anywhere. Throw it to the rafters. And Victor goes and gets it, throws it down.
There's a massive difference. Defenses now have to account for shooters spacing the floor, guards attacking downhill, cutters moving off the ball, and a 7'5" presence warping every single possession simultaneously. You cannot cover all of that. When you try, you end up scrambling, overhelping, and falling apart. The Spurs have flipped the dynamic entirely. Stefon Castle's leap. If Wembanyama is the foundation, Stefon Castle is the one building the walls around him. And the jump he's made from his rookie year to right now is frankly ridiculous for a second-year player. As a rookie, Castle averaged 4.1 assists per game. This season, he's at 7.1. That's not a gradual improvement. That's a completely different player. He's become a legitimate playmaker and one of the most relentless downhill drivers in the league. The thing that makes him genuinely difficult to guard is that he doesn't need screens to create. He gets downhill off the dribble, draws help, and finds the right play every time. Sit back on him and he punishes you at the rim. Go under screens and he torches you from deep. His three-point shooting is still a work in progress on the season, sitting at 31.8%, but over his last 10 games, he's hitting 45% from deep. If that number holds anywhere near that range going into the playoffs, you're looking at a legitimate all-star playing next to Wembanyama. A stupid good backcourt, genuinely. Castle is also building an all-defense case that's hard to ignore. He's physical at the point of attack, quick enough to stay in front of the league's fastest guards, and reads passing lanes at an elite level.
So, man, he's just got a deep bag. 20 points for Stefon Castle.
Pair him with Wembanyama waiting behind him, and attacking guards have nowhere to go. It's a nightmare situation defensively, and Castle is a huge reason why. The De'Aaron Fox masterclass. Now here's where the story gets really interesting, because the most underappreciated part of what San Antonio is doing this season might be De'Aaron Fox, and the way he's completely reinvented his role.
Crowd loud. Fox responds. De'Aaron Fox right on time.
When the Spurs brought Fox in, there were real questions. Another guard who isn't a high-volume three-point shooter playing alongside Castle, with Dylan Harper also in the mix. On paper, the fit looked clunky. In reality, it's been seamless. And the reason comes down to one thing. Fox genuinely does not care about his personal numbers. When Wembanyama missed 12 games early in the season, Fox stepped up and averaged 25.2 points and 6.2 assists. The Spurs went 9-3 without their best player. Those are basically his Sacramento prime numbers. Same production, completely different context. Then when Wembanyama came back, Fox stepped back. No drama, no adjustment period, no weird press conference comments. He just fit in, and that's the rarest thing in professional basketball. The numbers that show his real impact are subtle, but they hit hard. With Fox on the court, Wembanyama shoots 39.5% from three. Without him, that drops to 26.7. Castle goes from 27% to 34% from deep. Dejan Vasilev climbs from under 34% to 42. That's the Fox effect running through every single lineup he touches. He's making everyone around him a better shooter by commanding enough defensive attention to free them up, and doing it without needing the ball in his hands to do it. Before their matchup in late March, Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra said something that stuck. Most players say they'll do whatever it takes to win, but not many actually want their scoring average to drop by 7 points and be completely fine with it. That's what Fox has done, and according to Spoelstra, that's what changes everything, not the talent, the buy-in. In clutch situations, Fox is also a former clutch player of the year, and it shows. He's shooting 52, 37.5, and 78% in fourth quarters this season. When games tighten up, the ball finds him, and the Spurs have learned to trust that completely. Some guys just have ice in them late in games. Either you have it or you don't. Fox absolutely has it. Dylan Harper is arriving. The patience the Spurs showed with Dylan Harper early in the season is looking smarter by the week. The second overall pick had a tough start, a thumb surgery before the season, then a calf strain, then inconsistency as rotations shifted around Fox's return. From mid-December to late January, he was averaging 8.2 points on under 40% shooting. Not exactly what you draft second overall for. But then something clicked. After a loss to New Orleans on January 25th, Harper started playing like a different person.
Gets free. Dylan Harper shows up for the hometown. I don't know, but right hand.
Dylan Harper.
Well, we saw earlier in the season, no problem playing and shooting with that right hand inside the paint.
Over his last 20 games, he has genuinely looked like one of the best rookies in the league. 14.3 points on 58% shooting, 56% from three, nearly 4 rebounds and 5 assists. Back-to-back strong performances against the Pacers and the Heat, where he looked every bit the player San Antonio drafted him to be. What makes Harper so fascinating is that his skill level looks almost veteran in construction. He's finishing around 60% of his shots at the rim over the last 20 games, and that number jumps above 70. That's the kind of efficiency you'd expect from an athletic center throwing down dunks, not a rookie guard playing 23 minutes a night. He's also developed real defensive engagement alongside Castle, when the length, strength, and quickness those two bring together at the point of attack is borderline unfair when Wembanyama is standing behind them waiting. If Harper had landed on a team where he had full offensive control, there's a genuine argument he'd be leading the entire rookie class in scoring. He's that good. The fact that he's willingly operating within a system while being this effective is honestly more impressive. The roster is built right. What makes all of this sustainable rather than a one-year thing is how well the entire roster fits together. This isn't 4 stars and a bunch of filler. Every single piece has a defined role, and more importantly, every piece has the freedom to go make plays within that role. The spacing is elite. Lineups consistently feature at least 3 shooters. Kel Johnson, Devin Vasilev, Wembanyama, and Fox together create room for everyone to operate. Julian Champagny has put together a career year. Harrison Barnes has been steady. And the front office directly addressed the one weakness from last year, non-Wembanyama defense, by bringing in Luke Cornett. Problem identified, problem solved. Their record against Oklahoma City this season says everything. 4 wins and 1 loss, including a clutch win in the NBA Cup semifinals, a 20-point blowout on December 23rd, and a statement victory on Christmas Day when OKC came in ready for war. The Spurs sent a message that day. They don't just have the future, they might already have the present. And the coaching factor. It would be genuinely shit analysis to talk about this team without addressing addressing the coaching situation, because Mitch Johnson deserves serious credit for what he's pulled off. Taking over from Greg Popovich after 29 seasons is not a normal coaching transition. That's one of the most impossible acts to follow in the history of professional sports. And the easiest thing to do would have been to just copy the Popovich system and try to maintain what was already there. Johnson didn't do that. What he understood was that the foundation, discipline, ball movement, unselfishness still works, but he layered pace, athleticism, and creativity on top of it rather than replacing it. He's also shown a real willingness to play young players through their mistakes rather than pulling them at the first sign of trouble. Wembanyama, Castle, and Harper have all grown within a system that gives them genuine room to develop while still holding them accountable. The result is a team that still has the DNA of those old Spurs teams. You can see the structure and the trust and the system, but this group plays faster and freer and with more swagger.
I started the clock. And Michael, I thought he lost control of the ball. It was a pass. What a luxury to have that young man, 7'4", Victor Wembanyama, running the floor, just throwing up there.
The old Spurs won games with precision. They were elite. They were a model franchise. They were also, let's be honest, not always the most exciting thing to watch during the regular season. This version of the Spurs is different. People actually want to watch them. Popovich's greatest achievement might not be what he built, but who he chose to hand it to. He has the most successful coaching tree the league has ever seen. Of course, he made sure the right person was ready to take over his franchise. Where this is all heading, everything this team is doing points in the same direction. The culture is right.
Through and a 360 layup.
Unreal. Ball handling ability is too good. He watches here. Beautiful. 360 spin, layup off the glass.
The roster construction is right. The development is ahead of schedule. The coaching is working. And the star at the center of it all is 21 years old and improving every single month. The Spurs climbed from the third worst team in the West to the second best record in the entire NBA in 12 months. They've already beaten 50 wins. They're a top 5 offense, a top 3 defense, and a top 4 net rating league-wide. And they haven't won a thing yet. That last part is the real question hanging over all of this. Can this version of the Spurs, talented, young, exciting, well-coached, hold up in a playoff series against veteran, battle-tested teams who have been through the wars before? Is the experience gap real, or have we been underestimating them this entire time? The signs suggest the latter, but playoff basketball is a completely different animal, and the only way to find out is to actually get there and go through it. What's undeniable is this: the San Antonio Spurs are not a project anymore. They are not a team you circle as a soft matchup. They are genuinely dangerous right now, and whoever has to face them in May is going to have a very bad time. If you enjoyed watching this, drop a like and subscribe. We'll keep following the Spurs run, because if things keep going this way, we're in for something special. See you in the next one.